Hey guys, welcome back. So we're talking about trading plans. In the previous video, we talked about a whole generic goal strategy, which is kind of, hey, I want to become a swing trader that's earning an extra couple hundred grand a year trading stocks, or I want to become a day trader that is able to make an extra few £100s a day when I'm involved in the markets. That is your broad strategy and stuff. So to get to that where you want to become as a trader and what you want to do, whether you want a full-time, part-time, whatever, we need a trading plan. We need to outline exactly how we're going to differentiate ourselves from every other person in the market, what makes us different, how we're going to dedicate our time, resources, energy, focus, and capital. So let's put this into perspective. Now, I've got a couple of examples that perhaps we can use as a kind of analogy to a business plan, because a lot of people trading are from business background or from a corporation background, moved into trading. Some people go straight into trading, but it's still very familiar. So let's say you were starting up a car sales business. You wanted to sell used cars and you were coming up with a plan. So a broad plan would be something like, hey, I want to sell used cars. That's way too broad. You're not doing anything there to focus to make any kind of drilling down onto what you're going to do. However, if you said to yourself, listen, I'm going to sell German performance cars aged between 3 and 5 years old. So in other words, ones that are just coming off a lease or ones that are just coming out of their initial hire purchase things. So they're coming on the market, good pool of them to pick up from auction, whatever it may be. I'm going to specialize in those. The price range is going to be between 20,000 and 40,000 or 10,000 and 30,000, whatever kind of, however you're going to pick that. But you're starting to narrow it down now. And then you say, okay, now I am also going to have, the unit's going to have a service bay in which I'm going to employ mechanics. I'm going to do tyres and MOT servicing, and along with the sale of used cars, I'm going to sell warranties, I'm going to sell service packages, I'm going to sell finance. I'm going to try and be there for the customer for the lifetime of the vehicle, and hopefully get the trade in at the end of it, and also be able to upsell them again, because there's a certain demographic of customer, blah blah. So you get the point. Without going too in depth in it, you get the point. Similarly, you could have something like a restaurant. So listen, I'm going to open a restaurant. It's in the right area where it's going to be really good for business lunches. I'm going to do pizzas very, very quickly, fresh pizzas very quickly. It's going to be an X price, it's going to be this and that for a coffee. You kind of get the idea. You are zooming down. In any other business, you would be doing that. You wouldn't just say, I'm going to open a restaurant and I'm going to sell food. I'm going to open a business, I'm going to sell cars. You go into the idea of what you're good at, what you can do, the capital you've got. You have to obviously have that capital to go in that and have a car lot with 10 or 15, 30 grand cars there, as opposed to, 5 or 6 £1,000 cars that are just good for a specific use of demographic or whatever it may be. But you get the point. So let's look at it from a trading perspective. So something you might say when you're trading is, hey, I'm going to trade European indices. So let's go back to the same analogy. I'm going to become a trader. I'm going to become a car dealer or a restaurant owner. Pointless. Now you're going back and you're saying, okay, I'm going to become a trader, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to trade European indices from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. So you're kind of specializing now. And I'm going to trade momentum-based setup. So between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m., I'm going to look for momentum from the open. I'm going to trade the FTSE, DAX, CAC, SMI, whatever it may be. Okay, it kind of doesn't matter. And then I'm also going to supplement that by looking for swing trades in stocks. And I'm going to scan for those at 9 p.m. at night, and especially looking for ones that have been big movers during the day. Perfect. You now have gone from being so broad with no focus to actually narrowing it down. And that's the first start of a trading plan. Now, it's not to say you're going to stick with that for the whole of your trading career. It's a starting point. It's a better starting point to go from. Like the analogy with the guy with the cars. He starts out with the cars. He realizes, you know what, I might have gone a little bit high ticket. I need to go down and go into some perhaps kind of executive diesels and stuff, as opposed to the high end AMG RS models, whatever it may be. That's the point, is it's kind of adjusting, pivoting as you go along. So with trading, you start out and you say, hey, I'm going to trade European indices. I can trade it between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. because my lifestyle allows me to do that. And I want to become good at kind of day trading that specific period. I also have time in the evening to scan and look for some swing trades. Already you're putting together a pathway. So you've decided what you're going to trade, when you're going to trade it, how you're going to trade it, the kind of strategies you're going to trade it. We'll go into more depth about strategies in a moment, but you've kind of outlined and said, hey, I'm not just going to go and shoot from the hip. I'm going to say, listen, I'm looking for momentum plays from the open in the European indices. Very specific, very focused, to allow you to become a specialist at it, to then allow you to build a framework around that, a risk framework, a strategy framework. You know, you're already getting involved in it. And going back to the analogy of the cars, the guy then is going to say, okay, well, I know what I need to buy, the cars I need to buy and who I need to sell to. How do I focus on getting the cars at the right price, good stock? How do I focus on getting the right customers in through the door? Already, you can see how by defining what you're doing in trading, it's going to give you a much better chance of success. So it's the what, it's the when, it's the how, it's the strategies, it's the restrictions you're putting on it, and then the main important thing is the risk. And we'll talk about risk a lot more in a second. So those, I think, is the way to start out. So for your perspective now, if you haven't got a trading plan, it's my suggestion, again, take it, and discard parts of it or use bits of it. I would suggest starting out by deciding the trader that you want to become with the big, larger goals, and then drilling right down and saying, hey, I now want to trade this market or these markets or this basket of stocks during these hours. Now, obviously, if you're swing trading, you're going to say, hey, I'm going to trade these specific markets and I'm looking to hold them for, several weeks, several months. I'm going to analyze them on these days at these times. Okay, we use a day trade analogy, but it's perfectly the same with the swing trading. Start to define the trader you're going to be, start to define the hours you're going to put in, start to define the strategy, the risk, all this kind of stuff, and then you can really drill down to it. So right, next video, guys, we're going to go into some more depth on this, drill down to each of those different sections so we can really come out at the end of this with a decent, solid, robust trading plan to move forward with. See you on the next one.